Today we're going to be loading up some 45 ACP using berries, 230 grain plated bullets, and that's coming up next here on Jesse B Outdoors Reloading. Welcome back everybody, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below if you like videos like this. First off, I'd like to thank my wife's uncle again. I'm reloading some more rounds for him, and that's why we're making this video here, because it gives me an opportunity to do a video that I might not have been able to do before. So what he brought over was some berries, 230 grain plated bullets, and we're going to be loading those up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys in here, show you all the components we're going to be using, and we'll be loading them up on the Dillon RL550C today. So let's get started. Alright, components we're going to be using today, of course, is going to be the berries 230 grain plated bullet here. We're going to be using the HS6 powder from Hodgdon. Once again, I'm not giving you my load data because I am not familiar with this powder or anything. What I will tell you is this load I'm using is right out of the Hornady manual, so you guys can know that. Mixed range brass here. And then for our primers, we are using this time around Federal large pistol primers. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, we're going to do our normal. I'm going to run one around just so I can tell everybody what's going on. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my powder charge while we're doing this. I didn't do it before the video, so I'm going to do it while we're doing this. So once again, we're going to put it in the first station. We are going to size and decap. These are already decapped, so I don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to have to go down and set the primer on there. And you can see now we have a primer in there. And I'm using RCBS dies for that. Now we're going to come over here to the powder through expanding die. This one is all Dillon. And I'm going to take this out real quick. Zero out my scale. And then we're going to check the powder charge on it. Usually the first one is never right. A lot of people always want you to do this different. Some do it a couple of times, throw it out. Some do it 5 times. I'm just going to do it a couple and see where I'm at. Double check this powder charge. Now what this also does is it expands the case so you can put the bullet in. Right there, it looks like we're still just a tad bit high. Double check it one more time. Alright, we're good enough on that. So now what we're going to do is drop it and drop our powder everywhere and make a mess. So what I'm going to do while the case is empty here, since my ding dong butt did that, you can see how we can set the bullet down in there. Normally you can't do that. I'll grab a different round here and show you guys that you cannot put the bullet in at all until you flare that case. So since I accidentally dumped that powder out of that case and wasted it, I'm going to go ahead and put one in here. And we're going to go back up and size and prime this one here. Put my pin back in. I don't edit anything out on my reloading channel because what happens. Part of reloading. You can't tell me nobody else that's watching this video has never spilled powder before. Alright, so now what we're doing is that first round is over to the bullet seating and crimping die, and I'm just seating it, and I'm using an RCBS die with this. So now we'll go up and seat that bullet. And remember, you always want to push forward to set the primer. Now we are in the last station here, and this is going to be the crimp die, and I'm using a Lee Factory crimp die on this one. So now we got our final round here, and what I like doing is, I only got 145 ACP. I'm going to plunk test my barrel. Right there, falls right out. You should be able to put it in and spin it. Passes that, so everything's all good. So now what we are going to do, we are going to knock out 99 more rounds of this. And I've already done a couple hundred of these. So the press is already set up, ready to roll. And if you guys watch the channel, you know, once you get rocking and rolling on this thing, even though it don't have a case feeder and all that, you can crank the rounds out pretty quick. Usually when I do a 100 round video with this on the channel, usually it's like 20 to 25 minutes long, and a lot of that's me talking. Now I am having some troubles on some brass of it sticking on that funnel like that, so you got to kind of slam it off there. Usually when I see that, the inside of the brass is still a little bit dirty. Now this next one probably won't do it because it'll look a little cleaner. And as I say that, it sticks some. But this is the first time I'm using this powder funnel. Like I said, I have made a couple hundred rounds. But this is the first time that I'm using this. Now you see me stop right here while setting a primer. I think what I have... I thought I had a small one. It looks like it just did not want to go in right. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to set this one. Actually, no, that made it flush there. That one was just a little rough. But the one thing you want to do is I try to, when I clean my brass, I try to separate the small pistol primers from the large. But anytime you feel resistance, you should stop and double check. From what I've seen, this one is a OFL, so it's just a little bit rough. From what I've seen, Federal, Blazer, and S&B like using small pistol primers, so you want to watch out on those. Just so you guys know, to give you a heads up. And it's the same way with 10mm also. 10mm, they'll have small and large pistol primers. Man, that sucks it don't come off there smooth. But once again, like I said, I don't edit anything out because that is part of what we got to do. Let me know in the comments down below, do you guys polish this at all or anything? I've had this for almost a year now, but I've almost mainly done 9mm. And that one I have no problems with, but it's because I got tons of rounds through it. I've only got a couple hundred rounds through on this powder funnel, because like I said, I had, in my last video, last time I did 45 ACP, I had a Lee powder dropper on here because I didn't have all my stuff yet for all the Dillon stuff. So let me know that down in the comments down below. That one was a little bit tough too, but I think it might be another one of those other primers here. It's definitely not a small one. Ooh, this one's a LAX, and I did tear that primer up. So I'm going to set that off to the side here. I'm going to pause the video real quick because I'm going to grab one of my primers to replace that with. Alright, this is one reason why I like the Dillon here, because it don't rotate, so I don't have to rotate nothing back. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take my pen out here. This one has already got powder in it. Then I am going to put my primer over here to replace that one I just messed up in the primer cup. We are going to put another piece of brass in there. We're going to go up and size that, come down, prime that one, and now you can see here that that one's primed. So now what I can do is I can put this back in, put my pin back in, rotate this around and keep moving. So I'm going to get this to where I know I'm at. We're on the stroke we're at. And you can see here how I messed that primer up right there. So that primer's toast. I'm just replacing it with one of mine because it was my screw up. Not quite sure what happened there, but I'll end up popping that out later. So we'll keep on moving on. It's funny, I've done a couple hundred of these with no issues. As soon as I turn the camera on, bam, all the issues. That's how it goes sometimes. Now that one was nice and smooth. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make up this round here real quick. We'll spin it around. And now what we'll do is we'll go into quiet mode for a little bit so you guys can hear the press. Man, this is getting rougher. Alright, looks like we didn't pick a primer up on that one. I'm going to pull this one out. I'm pretty sure there was a primer in this one. I felt that. So we didn't get a primer, and a lot of times what that is with a jarring around of knocking that out of the powder funnel. Sometimes you can lift this up, and sure enough, I'm going to take that piece of brass out there, but I can see, I got to get a pin here, or my little hook here, where it did knock the primer off the cup. And that is from the jarring around. So now I'm going to pick this primer up here. There we go. Put my pin back in. We're going to drop this down. Now once again, we will take this out because that time it got double charged because I put it back up. And you guys can't see this, but I can definitely tell a double charge with this powder in it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put that back up there. Where's that piece of brass I had? Yep, there we go. So now we're going to run this back up again. Put my pin in here. Sometimes when you don't put the pin in, if you're not paying attention, the cartridge will get sideways and it'll crush it if you're not watching it. So now we'll come down again. Man, that one's bad. And we'll put that in there. And you can see right there, we got a primer in it again. So this is definitely going to be a video showing you guys some of the issues you could have while reloading. Couple of these, like I said, I've done a couple hundred. Some of these were sticking bad, but what I noticed is the ones I first used, his brass, he dry tumbles, and I thought it was that. My brass, which I think this is mixed. I got some that are dry tumbled that people have sent me, and then some are wet tumbled, which is what I've always done. I've actually had people ask me, they're like, how do I get all the dust off of my brass from dry tumble? I have no clue. I've wet tumbled ever since I started reloading, so I really couldn't tell you on that. But yeah, I'm using my brass here. So like I said, I've had a lot of people send me brass, and I threw it in my jar. If it was clean, I just threw it in there. I didn't care if it was wet tumbled or dry tumbled. What we're doing is he actually got 1,000 pieces of brass, but he hasn't brought it to me yet. And I wanted to get these rounds done because I got other videos I want to knock out. But I wanted to knock all these rounds out for him. So what I'm doing is I'm just letting him use my brass. And then when he brings the brass to me to replace it, I'll just throw that in my bin. Don't really matter to me. This brass ain't like, oh, I gotta have this brass, it's mine. So like I said, a lot of it people have sent to me, some of it's stuff I shot. So as long as it gets replaced, I really don't care. So that's why I'm making these up on here like that, because I do have one of them coming up here I'm really excited to do is 44 Special. If you guys know, I got my Ruger Red Hawk 44 mag, and I've only reloaded 44 mag for it so far. One of my viewers graciously sent me some 44 Special brass, and then Xtreme Bullets sent me some 44 Magnum, well, 44 caliber bullets, and it was 500 bullets. So what I want to do is I want to do 300 in Magnum, and then I want to do 200 in Special. So we can have some fun doing that. The Special I am going to split up and do different powders with and try different powders out. On the 44 mag, I don't have the stuff to do 44 mag or Special on my Dillon, so we'll probably, I think I'm going to do the Special on my RCBS Rock Chucker, and then I'll do the Magnums probably on my Lee Classic Turret Press. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I'm excited to do that here, and I'm going to look up the Skeeter Load, because the Skeeter Load's one of them I want to do. And if I remember right, that uses unique powder. And I haven't been able to find unique in forever, but I do have probably about a quarter jar of unique left. So I'm excited to make up that round. We'll do that on there. And then we'll do a couple other ones too. Even though we are loading Barry's bullets here, I would like to thank Xtreme Bullets for supporting the channel. Because most of the bullets I shoot on my channel are from them. But what I think we're going to do is we're going to go back into quiet mode again and knock some more of these out. Alright, what I want to do now is usually sometime in the middle, I usually do another powder check, and I'm going to do that right now. We will check this out here, get that zeroed out, make sure we are where I want to be. And yep, we're right where I want to be, so we're good to roll on that. Usually I like checking it somewhere in the, around the middle to the end, just to make sure. This Dillon powder measure has been pretty consistent for me, so I trust it, but you still always have that little voice in the back of your head saying, you better check it, you better check it. So it's always better to be safe than sorry on those. But you can see here, once you get into a rhythm, you can knock these out pretty dang quick here. Usually my biggest issue is my muscle disease with my fingers. It's trying to get my fingers to work. Sometimes picking the brass up out of the bin could be a pain for me. Usually the bullets I can get in the correct position in my fingers, but sometimes it takes me a minute to get the brass. If I grab one upside down, it takes me a couple of seconds to get it flipped over right. That slows me down a little bit, but you can still go for a good pace. You don't want to fly when you're reloading, because you definitely want to pay attention to what's going on. The way I'm set up right now, once I come down like that, I can see the powder charge. So I can see if the level's off or anything. Sometimes people ask me about that, and that's why I kind of sit at an angle here and not directly behind the press. Because when I sit at an angle like this, I can see right straight down into the case. And that's why I like reloading at an angle like this. Some people, they get right behind it. Well, if I'm right behind it, then this post right here is blocking my view of the powder charge. So that's one reason why I reload like this off to the side. And why this handle's kind of kicked over to the left a little bit is for that reason there. But it looks like we're getting pretty low here. Looking at the primers, and of course I get one that's stuck kind of hard again. But let's go into quiet mode again. Okay, that one felt a little weird again. Alright. Got a couple of these I'm wondering about. Alright, I'm going to come back, stop right here, and I'm going to come back and see what's going on with this. Alright, that had basically just a tight pocket. It's the only thing I could see on it. So what I'm going to do is I put this back in, I dump the powder on it. We're going to put another piece of brass in. We're going to come down and put a primer in it. Spin it around. I'm going to take that primer back over here, drop it in. And while I did all that, the buzzer did beep, so we're down to basically 4 primers, so that did that right at the end. I want to make sure this seated in there good. You can see right there it did. So, like I said, this is a perfect video here to show some of the issues you can have while reloading. Like I said, it's not all hunky-dory, and I don't cut anything out on this channel because I want to show it the way it is. But we should only have 1 or 2 more pieces left here. Get these knocked out. Alright. I don't know if this one will get a primer or not, but we'll go up and size it. And once you do this, you'll get a feel for it when there's not a primer in there. You can tell when there's resistance. People have asked me that. They're like, how do you know? And you just get a feel for it. That's all I could say. When I first got this press, I didn't have the feel for it. But right there, I can tell right now there's no primer in it. You can see right there. So once you get used to the press, you do get a feel for it. And you can tell here. But here's our last rounds of 45 ACP. We'll take this up there. And in this video, let's go back on top. Alright, so now we have our 100 rounds of beautiful berries. 230 grain 45 ACP bullets made up. Like I said, I don't cut nothing out. You guys can see some of the struggles that happens with reloading. And that's why I leave it in, just for the newbies. So they know if they screw something up, it's not just them. People with experience will have screw-ups too, and it just happens. What I think was, I think when I had to slam it off of the powder thing, it probably flipped that primer up in that cup. And that's probably what screwed it up. Because normally, if it's running smoothly, I never have an issue like that. But when I ran into these where I get those stuck on the powder funnel, I think that's what's happening. Most of the time, it'll throw it out of the cup. But I think that time it turned it sideways. And you notice I stopped when I felt something wrong, but I didn't do it quick enough. That's part of my muscle disease. I don't have the feeling like I should. But as long as that sucker don't pop, I'm very happy with that. So as always, don't forget to check the links out down below. Down there I have links to Axil Hearing Protection, Gators Eyewear, and a bunch of other companies I like dealing with. Some of them got discount codes to save you guys money. Others are affiliated accounts to do help out the channel. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. We are One Nation Under God. And I'll see you all on the next one.